Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Zaron!
Elizabeth!
Zaron Burnett!
What's up, girl?
How you doing?
Yeah, fair to middling.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, how about you? How you doing?
I'm all right.
You hanging in there?
I'm all right.
Good.
SC.
Good, I like that.
You know what's ridiculous?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Okay, my man Seth Rogen, you see he got nominated for a bunch of Emmys for his show, The Studio?
Yeah.
Love that show. You love that show.
So good.
Well, he also was in, I listen to a lot of old radio, as you know, and one of the old radio shows I like is called The Green Hornet.
Yeah.
He made a movie back in the day for The Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Not one of his better movies.
No.
I went to it. I of course, was supporting the idea, but it wasn't that great.
I'll
Anyway,
support him in whatever he does.
Oh, my God. But what I found out recently was there was almost a magical villain character in The Green Hornet. It was... Well, guess who would I be the most thrilled would be a villain in The Green Hornet. It's an actor I've talked about many times on this show. My potential new bestie, Nicolas Cage.
No.
Yes. But Seth Rogen apparently thought that Nicolas Cage was not right for the part.
Yeah, a little distracting.
But it wasn't, he thought he was right for the part initially until he started talking to Nicolas Cage about it. And then he was like, no, I don't know. So the way he tells it, he recounts a conversation he had about the possibility of him being in the new Green Hornet movie. And Nicolas Cage was like, I want to play a bald guy, but have hair tattooed on my head and big prosthetic lips. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and Seth Rogen's like, all right. And Nicolas Cage was not done. He was like, I want to do a voice like Edward G. Robinson. And he was like, Seth Rogen's like, okay. And then he's not done yet. Actually, wait, maybe not the tattooed hair. That's something I might want to do in real life. So it might be weird if I also do it in a movie. And Seth Rogen's like, yeah, that might make it weird.
Yeah.
So eventually, as he puts it, we called the studio and we're like, I'm not sure we're going to find common ground here. He's coming up with weird ideas. For Nicolas Cage, which is saying something. So
yeah.
Nicolas Cage talked himself out of a part that it was like, I think probably made for him.
He liked the idea of Nicolas Cage, not Nicolas Cage.
I think a lot of people have that experience.
Yeah,
Until Nicolas Cage is right there in front of them, we're like, oh, he's always turned up like this. It's not just he's doing an act.
Right.
This really is the man. Which is why I love him, as you know.
Yeah. And I back to Seth Rogen.
Yes, who I also love.
I love
totally.
him.
Big
and
fan.
if you haven't seen The Studio, so good.
So, oh my God, yes.
It's one of my favorite shows of late.
Yeah. And can I be really like, I don't know, sentimental and like embarrassing?
Please. Yes, please.
When I was back on Twitter, Seth Rogen used to follow me, and every time I ever liked a tweet, I was like, it would make a couple days for me. I was like, wow, I did something funny enough that Seth Rogen was like, hell yeah.
That's... I have like 6 degrees of separation from you.
Yeah, and also now I'm over social media, so all I post is just things where I try not to be angry. I don't be fun. I'm not funny anymore online. It's terrible.
Well, Seth Rogen's still missing out.
Yeah.
Do you know what else is ridiculous?
Dude, I was hoping you did.
Being a slippery little fella.
What?
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
Damn right.
Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago.
Yes.
Remember that from Ferris
Ferris
Bueller's?
Bueller's. How could I forget?
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
My sister and I still use that in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Make reservations as Abe Froman.
Abe Froman.
Yeah, have to.
I love that. Well, I have for you today the tale of the salad oil king of New Jersey.
The salad oil king.
This guy.
So wait, is he like an olive oil importer?
This guy. Oh, no.
He's not one of those guys?
No, well, he's ridiculous.
Okay.
And pulled such a ridiculously massive con. It's impressive.
Ooh, I love those.
I'm talking about Anthony De Angelis.
Do not know that
Tino.
name. Tino.
Call me Tino.
Out of Anthony, they got Tino.
Tino.
Usually Santino leads to Tino.
No, Tino.
I like that.
He was born in 1915, grew up in the Bronx.
Okay. Oh, good time to be born in the
Times
Bronx.
were tough.
Yeah, exactly.
Immigrant family from Italy. There were 5 kids.
Cold water walk up.
His dad worked on the railroad all the livelong day.
For real?
Yeah, that was his job.
Huh.
And like many children of immigrants, Tino had to go to work early. He didn't have the luxury of higher education.
Yeah, and you don't mean early in the day, you mean early in his life.
Yeah, well, although not as early as some. When he was 17, he left school. So he got to stay longer than like my grandpa did.
Totally, I was about to say.
Yeah.
He made it to high school and almost
Right.
through high school. Perhaps
Exactly.
close.
He got a job as a meat cutter with City Provision Company in New York City.
So like a bulk butcher, basically?
Yeah, but within a couple years, he was a manager there. He oversaw 200-something dudes.
Good on you, Tino.
Yeah, Tino. And
He's good with a knife.
he told the Saturday Evening Post in 1964, quote, "I had an exceptional ability in knowing how to process hogs. Some of my methods, like cutting hogs while moving, cut the cost of processing hogs enormously."
Check out Henry Ford over here.
I mean, for real. So he did this for a few years, and then he struck out on his own. He opened his own meat butchering company.
Okay.
And he'd saved $2,000 for that.
Damn.
Which is about $45,000 today.
Yeah, that's a good chunk of change.
It's not too shabby, but it still wasn't enough. So he got a loan for $10,000. That's like the equivalent of $230,000 today.
Ooh, buddy.
But the business was a success. It took off.
Good on
He
him.
was pulling in money like no one could believe. $100,000 after 1 year, $300,000 after 3 years.
Whew.
He's just raking it in. So by the time World War II started, business is booming.
Yeah.
He was the big dog in the New York meat business. And in fact, that's how he was able to avoid serving in World War II.
Oh, because he's like an essential
Yeah,
business.
he dodged the draft because his company was a major supplier of pork to the U.S. Army.
He loved pork then in the Army.
He had to be there to oversee the business. That was his contribution to the war effort.
Totally. He was a logistics man.
Exactly. So for many industries, war is good for business.
For many, many industries.
And this was true for Tino.
Yes.
He was making money hand over fist. Now, there were some who said that his success was thanks to black market meat sales.
Oh.
He was never charged or busted for that.
Oh.
And by the time the war ended, nobody cared.
Oh, they didn't call him war profiteer.
No, nobody cared at that point.
Yes.
He had cash. He took care of people. He had $1 million set aside for his family, quote, in case anything ever happened.
Oh, smart business.
That's like $18 million today, stashed somewhere.
In case anything happens.
God bless.
I'd like to have at least half of that for
That'd be
anything that happens.
$1 million stashed somewhere for rainy day fund. Pretty nice. So while we didn't have shortages of food here in the States at that time, they for sure had shortages all across Europe.
Totally, especially Italy.
Oh, yeah. Factories and farms leveled, a generation of workers killed, supply chain logistics are a total mess. Enter Tino. 1947, he won a contract with the government of Yugoslavia
Oh.
for $1 million.
Tito liked his he's like, Tito and Tino, let's get
Hand
together.
in hand. So what were they going to buy from him?
Yeah, what were they going to buy, Elizabeth?
I love when you ask good questions. Lard.
Oh.
The basics of
yes.
cooking. You have salt, fat, acid, heat. Shout out to Samin Nasrat. You got to have the fat if you're going to eat and keep people alive. So per the book, The Great Salad Oil Swindle by Norman Miller, quote, according to Tino, he made lifelong friends among the Yugoslavs by this deal. The record shows otherwise.
Oh. So,
Yes.
so wait, if you were to ask a Yugoslav at that time, they're like, we have a much different version of events. Okay.
That book, by the way, is based on Miller's coverage of Tino in the Wall Street Journal, and that eventually won him a Pulitzer Prize
good
in
on him.
1964.
Way to go, Norman Miller.
Here's the thing. When the Yugoslavs got the shipment of lard, it was not primo grease.
Oh, no.
It was subpar.
Oh.
Like,
and was it turning too?
Were there bits in it? I don't know. It was an insult, in essence. So they complained to Tino, and then they sued to get their money back.
We want that good grease.
Yeah, give me the good slicks. Tino paid him $100,000 to settle.
Okay.
Like, fine, you take the bad grease. Here's $100,000. Get out of my face. So with that behind him, Tino set his sights on expansion. 1949, he got control of a publicly traded company called Adolf Goebel Company. It was a meat packing firm in New Jersey.
Adolf Goebel.
Adolf Goebel. And he
That's a rough
declared
name.
himself president.
Okay.
He's like, look at me. Then he landed a sweet contract with the federal National School Lunch Program.
Oh, no.
So he would be supplying 18.9 million pounds of smoked meat to be distributed in school cafeterias all across the country.
Vienna sausages for everybody.
Ham for days.
Yeah, he's like, do you like bologna? Do you like hot dog pancakes? We've got bologna for your kids.
There it is. Feeding school kids. That's like good American. He's building a better tomorrow. But it seems like he didn't think any more highly of the Americans than he did of the Yugoslavians.
Oh, he's a good businessman.
Yeah, in 1952, the U.S. government sued Tino. Seems he sold subpar goods again. The meat was so bad they couldn't use it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And more than 2 million pounds of meat that were uninspected just in general.
So he's like sweeping the factory floor and just going, this is for the kids.
It's the bits, the scrap and the bits. And so like some didn't even go into inspection. They're like, we can't even use this if it was good because you didn't bother.
We can smell check it. This is not good.
And then not only that, he overcharged the government by $376.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say percent.
No. Like, almost 340 grand.
Yeah.
He overstated the weight of various shipments. But you know what that equivalent is today? $4.1 million.
Ooh.
Like you overcharge for $4.1 million.
Tino, what are we
to
doing?
The government.
For the school kids.
For the children's. Tino, he settled that one out of court too. He
Really?
paid $1 million fine.
Okay, I was just about to ask. No fines, no fees?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
And then his
$1 million
company,
fine.
that Adolf Goebel, declared bankruptcy in 1953, and the board of directors fired him.
That's going to happen.
Out you go. Yeah. And just to make sure he was spreading the pain on both sides of the conflict, in May of 54, the German government said it had also gotten inferior lard from another of his companies.
Wow.
Yeah, so the U.S. government investigated this, found the accusations true. Tino had to pay damages again. He's like, what? You don't like my lard?
He walks into the court, judge is like, you again?
Right? So he had to diversify at this point.
Yeah.
So in 1955, he chartered Allied Crude Vegetable Oil and Refining Corporation.
Okay.
That is such a 50s corporation name.
Yes, and a 50, like a fake one where you're trying to like hide what you do and try to sound like the other guys.
Yes. This would be an exporter doing business with foreign countries through aid programs that were arranged by the Commodity Credit Corporation of the U.S. government.
Okay.
And so Tino leaned way into this. He made Allied Crude the dominant player in soybean oil and in cottonseed futures.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Allied
seed oils.
Allied Crude. They traded in basically vegetable oil products.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like aggressive in expanding his company's stake in these markets. So by the end of the 50s, Tino was responsible for 3/4 of all edible oil shipped to Europe. Tino alone.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's like that guy who's responsible for all the cheese on frozen cheese pizzas.
Me.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So he had figured out that there was this fortune to be made from 2 government programs, farm price supports and foreign aid. So there just so happened to be a huge soybean surplus in the U.S. at the time.
Ah.
And his plan was to buy up as many of the beans as he could, process it all into soybean oil, and then ship the stuff overseas on government contracts.
Yeah, why not?
Because there's the subsidies at home, then he gets that.
He's milking taxpayers at both ends.
Yeah, exactly. And he could pick up some private contracts too.
Yeah.
Soybean oil wasn't just for human consumption. It was commonly called salad oil, but it had industrial applications. Like you could use it in paint and stuff.
Oh,
and so there was a high demand for it.
A replacement for linseed oil.
Yes.
Okay.
So Tino got to work. Between 1958 and 1962, he developed out this enormous salad oil refinery in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Oh, man.
He leased 139 oil storage tanks for the place. And massive tanks.
Yeah, they look like the oil refinery tanks.
Yeah, some of them are 5 stories tall.
Yeah.
He wasn't, of course, the only guy in the game. There were other oily sorts who wanted in on this cash cow, but Tino had plans for that too. He paid wages high above his competitors, and his bids to the government were always the very lowest. It's not really a recipe for success in most cases.
Most times it doesn't work.
No, but by 1962, Allied Crude was responsible for 3/4 of the U.S. exports of soybean and cottonseed oils.
That's when he made his profits.
Yes. Do you know how much that is in volume? 75% of
No, I was about to ask. Elizabeth, how much is that in, say, volume?
Thank you. 361 million pounds. It's a lot of oil.
That is a bunch
Now,
of oil.
You know what I always like to say?
Yeah.
Takes money to make money.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, are you going to wear those pants?
I say that too.
Yeah.
I say, well, when you're wearing pants.
Yeah.
So he was buying
Short
beans.
season.
He was.
Yes.
He's using money to make money. So he's buying up beans.
Yeah, he's cornered the market. He's buying
paying
beans.
his workers well, giving the U.S. government sweet deals. If he expanded enough, though, he could make that profitable.
Yeah, of course.
Very profitable. But he needed to finance this quick expansion, get that money in as fast as he could. So he got these massive loans, and he used the oil as collateral.
You can do that?
Apparently. So on top of all this, Allied Crude had a really strong relationship with a strong company.
By the way, I would love to go into a bank, talk to a bank manager and go, I'd like to get a very large loan of money. And they're like, what do you have? I'm like, I've got these boatloads of oils. Like, you guys
Couple
take
barrels of oil.
seed oils possibly as
Like,
collateral?
Yeah, totally.
You guys still into that?
Well, this is what, let me tell you why they signed on. American Express.
What?
So
credit
Allied
card
Crude had ties with American Express that gave it a positive reputation. And it wasn't because they ran around with Amex cards. Because, see, American Express had a warehousing division. In 1958, Tino went to American Express and asked about borrowing money on his oil. He gave him the old razzle-dazzle, the old Bobby Dazzler. And he did the hard sell on his setup. According to him, he had the most modern vegetable oil refinery ever built. This baby could take in 3 million pounds of crude salad oil a day, that yellow gold. So Amex, they're all about it, right?
Sweet, sweet yellow gold.
In 1944, they had introduced a new service. They wanted to get bankers really pushing their traveler's checks. Do you remember when those were a thing?
Yeah.
It was like big for international travel, pre-electronic credit or debit cards. So each check was like for a pre-printed fixed round amount of like one of a bunch of different major world currencies. So if you're going to France, you'd get one for like 100 francs each or whatever.
Sure.
And it was more reliable than like a random check from a random bank in another country.
It's basically like a certified check.
Yeah, and Amex is good for it. Everyone knows. So in exchange for bankers pushing these checks on people, Amex started offering supplemental services that would be appealing to the finance set. They started American Express Warehousing. And this company, they would store, inspect, and vouch for stuff like the oil that commodities dealers were using as collateral for their bank loans.
Okay.
So after all, everyone knew, Amex is good for it.
I totally don't understand high finance where you
No.
can bring seed oil into this. They're like, oh yeah, this is great.
Well, that's your...
It is a commodity. I get it. It's a
Yeah, well, and you can...
It's like frozen orange juice and pork bellies.
Right. So Tino, he paid American Express Warehousing $20,000 a week for their services.
Okay.
Part of the services
that's a
were
chunk.
inspections to attest to the amount of oil in each tank.
Oh, right. They got to put like the dipstick in.
Yeah, and that's what made the institutions cutting these loans feel confident. And Tino, he was able to get more loans based on his connection with Amex. So he picked up money from Bunge Limited, Staley, Procter & Gamble, Bank of America. In all, he had loans out with 51 different companies.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody wins.
Were they all aware of this?
No.
Okay.
There was one problem, though.
Only one?
One very
Sounds like
big...
there's 51
No, there's
problems.
one very big problem.
Oh, no.
Tino didn't have all that oil.
Of course
He
not.
never did.
Tino.
He had the paperwork for it, and he had the attestations that the oil was in the tanks, but not the oil itself.
Oh, oily mother.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's find that oil.
Let's, Elizabeth.
Zaron.
Elizabeth.
Zaron. So Tino and his oil.
Yeah, let's get oily with it.
So American Express, they would send inspectors out to the tanks to check on the stock of oil.
Okay.
I want you to close your eyes.
Oh, yes, my eyes are closed.
And I want you to picture it.
Girl from Spumante, she take
You are 18 years old. You're a young guy in New Jersey who just got a job thanks to your Uncle Giuseppe. He knew a guy. He got your cousin a job there last year. It's a good gig. Easy. And that's how you find yourself staring out across Kill Van Kull, a tidal strait that separates you and Bayonne, New Jersey, with Staten Island. Seagulls reel and dive in the air overhead as a forklift makes its way to a warehouse behind you. Your cousin calls you over to a small manager's shed. It's dwarfed by giant, wide cylinders. They're easily 100 feet tall. Inside the shed, a radio plays a Dean Martin tune. But your cousin is standing outside holding a clipboard. He tells you that the two of you are going to be helping some inspectors today. They want to know how much of this salad oil's in the tanks. Sounds good. He tells you the two of you will have to climb to the top of these things. You stare up at the closest tank, marveling at the sky above it. The Atlantic Ocean's wind, whipping up from the Caribbean, along the warm southern coast on its way up to Canada and Greenland, and then northern Europe, reaches like fingers through the various bays, inlets, and kills, pushing wispy clouds high in the sky over your head. The juxtaposition of the heavy industry surrounding you, oil tanks, rumbling trucks, and vast warehouses and distant brick factories. And then the gentle rolling hills over the Kill to Staten Island, the graceful seabirds, the open sky, the warm sun on your face. It's overwhelming. Your cousin clears his throat, looks at you with a grimace. Heads up, he tells you. They're here. A truck pulls up, and two men step out. They're both a bit older and carry a good bit of weight. They're wearing blue work jumpsuits with American Express warehousing stitched on a stiff patch on their breast pockets. They walk stiffly your way. They, like your cousin, hold clipboards. Your cousin reaches into the shed, tossing his clipboard onto a desk. Then he grabs a giant weighted tape measure and approaches the men. With Dino still crooning in the background, they all greet each other. Your cousin introduces you. Then he says, "You hear that Dean Martin singing? He's got nothing on my cousin here. My cousin, he is the voice. One day we'll all know about him." You blush and shuffle your feet. You're known in your family and the neighborhood as quite the singer, a real voice. Your cousin motions for you to follow him, and you all head out towards the nearest tank. At the base of the tank, one of the men says that climbing up there is young men's work. The other man chuckles. Your cousin tells you that the two of you will scale the ladder to the top of the tank. He'll go to the very top in the middle. You'll stay at the edge. He'll drop the tape measure in and get a fill percentage. He'll then shout it to you, and you'll, in turn, shout it down to the men. The two of you will repeat this on 5 or 6 other tanks. Then you can probably call it a day. It's 10 a.m. This is a good gig. You and your cousin scale the metal ladder running up the side of the tank. He drops the measuring tape in. The two of you wait in silence until you hear the dull thud of the weight hitting the very bottom of the tank. Your cousin shines a flashlight into the hole and reads the tape. 90% full, he yells. 90% full, you yell down to the men. One of them scribbles on his clipboard while the other gives you a thumbs up. You and your cousin descend and then repeat the process a few more times. When you're done and watching the men putter away in their truck, your cousin turns to you. You both stand in the shade of one of those enormous tanks. "Can I tell you something?" he asks. "Sure," you tell him. "There's no oil in those tanks." "I thought you said they were 90% full." You tell him that when the weight hit the bottom, it certainly didn't sound empty. "Nah," he tells you, "it's a racket. And the only reason I'm telling you is that one of these days you're going to have to do the measuring or the moving." "The moving," you ask. "Oh, you got a lot to learn," he tells you.
The moving?
The moving. So, Zaron,
yes.
Let me tell you how this all works.
Please.
So the workers, they're telling the inspectors that the tanks are basically full, and they were. With water. So they'd put like a foot or so of oil on top of that water in case someone wanted a sample.
Like a scoop?
Yeah. But a lot of the tanks didn't have anything in them at all. And they were connected by this like absolute maze of pipes.
Of course.
And if there was an inspection scheduled for the week ahead, the workers would slip into the facility on a Sunday afternoon because there was like not a lot of security. Mm-hmm. They'd pump oil or like oil and water from one tank to another. And from one that had been like recently inspected to one that was due for inspection. So that's how they move it. This way, there's infinite oil in the tanks. And according to the paperwork, that's, what it says.
Yeah.
Infinite oil means infinite funding. So you could take out almost unlimited loans on this stuff.
Against the oil.
It's endless collateral.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the lenders, they weren't checking with each other as to who's lending on what when it came to the tanks.
Whose oil it was.
Yeah. And then once Tino had loans out on 3 times as much oil as the tanks could hold. So he was keeping it all together, though, right? At least where that grift was concerned.
Okay.
So in the early 60s, Tino had another company, the Shortening Company of America.
Oh, he's back into shortening.
Oh, yeah. He cut a lot of corners on that one. As told in The Great Salad Oil Swindle, quote, "The shiny cans of oil packed by Shortening Corporation with the words, 'Donated by the people of the United States of America,' stamped proudly on them, were to lead to one of Tino's more memorable escapades. As the cans of oil arrived overseas, they started springing leaks. Before long, warehouses from Brazil to India were awash in rancid salad oil."
What?
Yeah. So see, Tino...
Was he intentionally selling?
No,
Oh,
he
okay.
said that he was using heavy-duty tins, and he charged them for that.
Yeah.
But this is Tino.
So, of course, it's like super
He was
thin.
using really cheap containers. They leaked. They broke really easily.
You touch them, the bottom falls out.
Yeah. When it came to his salad oil scam, no one could figure out how he was able to make the money he was making by buying the soybeans at the high prices he was and then selling the oil on the cheap.
Yeah.
So, like, rumors started to circulate. Some said that Tino was running a mob front, that he was washing dirty vice money in salad oil.
Sure.
Now, while there was never any proof of this, I will say that one of his co-owners of a Chicago refinery was Herman Topol. And Herman Topol had previously been an owner of another fat rendering company called Twin Foods. So back to the Great Salad Oil Swindle book. Quote, "This outfit had been put out of business by Chicago police after they discovered that among the company's stockholders were 5 mob figures who'd been identified by the Senate Rackets Committee as members of the Cosa Nostra. The police said at least 5 other Cosa Nostra hoodlums were employed by Twin Foods, and they weren't spending their time rendering fat. Twin Foods was a headquarters for, quote, loan sharking," and in the book it says, the lending of mob money at usurious interest rates, arson plots, and the fencing of stolen goods. The police suspected, moreover, that the activities at Twin Foods extended into murder.
I was wondering if he's like down with like Crazy Joe Bonanno and the Chicago outfit,
Yeah,
or like Sam
sounds like he
Giancana
was.
in New York, New Jersey.
Right. So we have Herman Topol is the owner of Twin Foods. Twin Foods gets shut down. Topol goes to work with Tino.
Of course.
I mean, that's not definitive proof, but come on.
But it is a kind of an indictment. It's damning with allegations of association, we'll say.
Exactly. And you are who you associate with.
That's what I'm saying.
So meanwhile, people were starting to speak up. So in 1960, Donald Miller, CEO of American Express Warehousing, he got a call from a tipster, later referred to as The Voice.
Ooh. Is this a callback?
It is. The Voice said that he worked the night shift at Allied in Bayonne, New Jersey. Wait a second, Sarah. Did you rat them out? The Voice told Miller, quote, "The biggest hoax ever pulled is being pulled on American Express because there is, in fact, water in the tanks, and we are counting it as oil. Whenever we went to take inventory at the tank, we would be dropping the weight into this metal chamber, which was filled with soybean oil, but the balance of the tank had water in it." So The Voice told Miller that one of Allied's large tanks had, quote, "a metal chamber of some kind, which went from the top of the tank to the bottom of the tank. It was under the hole where you would normally drop a bomb," meaning the sampling device, "to determine the quality of the contents of the tank. Whenever we went to take inventory in that tank," he said, "we would be dropping the bomb down this metal chamber, which was filled with soybean oil, but the balance of the tank had water in it."
So he basically made like a column right beneath
like
the
this
hole that you would
tube.
check through, so you can drop the weight all the way down through oil. But the rest of the tank is water. I love that. I may never have turned pro as a singer, but I definitely did sing.
You did. You got a voice on you. So Miller, he had to act, and he had to act quickly.
Yeah.
So he demanded a surprise inspection. When the inspectors got there, they discovered that all the tank openings were welded shut except for the measuring hatch. And they couldn't get oil in there if they tried. And then when they could actually check 5 of the tanks, and they were full of water, but not always full of water. So in the 24-foot tanks,
He didn't even want to waste the water.
no, in 24-foot tanks, they had between like 1 and 8 feet of water. I mean, there's bound to be some water in these tanks. 6 inches was the acceptable amount.
Okay. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I guess.
But they were running up to 8 feet.
Yeah.
And so the inspectors, they came back after the weekend because they went like on, Friday or whatever. They come back at the end of the weekend. By that time, there's nothing suspicious in the other tanks. The final report said that all the water was due to, quote, broken steam pipes. And then business between Allied and American Express continued uninterrupted.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding you.
American Express.
So here's the thing. when a guy stopped working for Tino at Allied, most of the time his new gig would be as an American Express field warehousing custodian. And they held the keys to the crazy mess of pipes that connected the tanks, like that were both above and below ground, these pipes. When inspectors came that particular week, the workers just shifted the oil that was in the supply from tank to tank, keeping one step ahead the whole time. And the inspectors were none the wiser. So by the end of the inspection week, the inspectors, they sign off, even with that explanation for extra waters. Oh, we had a pipe burst. The welded openings, that was, that was a problem. We figured that out. So everything. So around this time, Tino, he's buying heavily in the oil's futures market. And that's not risky.
No.
Futures markets?
So I'm making this face over here.
In August of 1961, the Spanish government ordered 275 million pounds of soybean oil from Allied. It was the biggest single order of Tino's career.
Was there any reason for this?
Well, I'll get to that. So this is worth $36.5 million. Today, that's a $394 million deal.
Whoa.
Right? And that's when the soybean oil futures market came in handy.
Yeah, I bet.
So Tino put in a heavy order on that. And he only had 50 million pounds of oil in the American Express field warehousing tanks. There's no way he could fill the order with that.
No.
And so it made sense to buy the futures. He went in big. But then something happened. Let's pause there. Let's order some soybeans. And when we come back, I will be charitable and tell you what the bad thing is.
Thank you.
Zaron.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Zaron. So we have Tino, unable to fulfill the Spanish order from his New Jersey tanks.
Yeah.
So he buys heavily in soybean futures. And then the Spanish government decided it didn't want the soybean oil after all. They had not paid the contract. It was all still in talks.
Yeah.
So Tino, he's positive he knew what happened. He's like, I know why they backed out.
I don't.
Opus Dei.
The churches?
Yeah. He was certain that Opus Dei killed the deal because it would have made him too powerful in Spain.
It's like a small Catholic sect that people oftentimes relate to, like the Knights Templar and like the finances of the Vatican.
Yes.
He thinks they're running a coup on him from Spain.
Well, they don't want him to be too powerful in Spain.
Exactly.
I mean, that was my first instinct.
I would have, it was my third, I have to admit.
I'm going to blame Opus Dei for secretly having it out for me and not wanting me to succeed. Like, they're threatened by me. They're the source of any bad reviews I get for this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not that I annoy people. It's that Opus Dei doesn't want me to shine.
They are probably an agent of Opus Dei trying to bring you down.
Exactly. I know it all now. So this whole thing started a downward spiral for Tino. Opus Dei 1, Tino 0. He spent the next couple of years speculating on futures, but those never panned out. He was forced to get loans to pay back money that he was never going to have.
Yeah.
It wasn't Opus Dei, by the way.
It wasn't?
No. Are you surprised?
A little bit.
No. See, there had been a forecast of a really super bad olive crop in Spain, and thus very little olive oil, which means they must have been desperate to order salad oil. Because they cook, everything's done with olive oil. And they're like, all right, well, we'll take that garbage. But then the olive oil crop was a boom. They didn't need to import this crap oil. Olive oil is so superior, by the way. I love it. So that's why they backed out of the deal.
So Spain took the olive oil that was like...
No, Spain was like, look, we're not going to get any olive oil this year.
Yeah.
It looks terrible for us. Let's put it in order. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're going to have like
we got plenty.
Ton.
And they're like, okay,
cancel the order. Thank God we didn't pay him
oil
yet.
From New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay. We're so glad we haven't put any money into that.
Yeah.
And so glad Opus Dei told us to do it. So Tino, he's got to make some money here. So he tried to cut deals with India and Indonesia for food for peace.
Let me get back to those U.S. aid programs.
Right. And that's what he was like, that sweet, cash money there. Those stumbled. Part of the problem was that the U.S. Agriculture Department switched the emphasis on edible oil donations to foreign relief agencies from vegetable oil to butter oil.
Huh.
And I'm guessing that this is around the time they needed to bolster the dairy industry in the States.
Ah, okay.
So they went from like bolstering soybeans to propping up dairy.
Sure.
So Allied sold some vegetable oil to Turkey, but not as much as the futures traders had expected.
Yeah.
Prices dropped. Tino lost money.
Huh,
So
and he couldn't short himself. Like he couldn't
No.
buy like the,
In 1962, Tino, he's still a large player in commodities markets.
Still big in oil.
Oh, yeah. And that's why he thought he could corner the soybean oil market completely. Big plans. He wanted to
He's
use...
going to go bigger. His answer is I should just
always
go bigger.
Always go bigger.
Of course.
He wanted to use
That's why I'm
all...
not in business. I don't think right.
No. He wanted to use all those commodity inventories that he had loans on from Wall Street banks and finance companies.
Bayonne.
He was going to drive up the price of his vegetable oil holdings, and that would raise the value of the inventory, bring in a profit from all these future contracts. And he kept talking about, in his mind, he was just on the brink of a ton of major contracts.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was so close he could taste it.
If the weather turned here or there.
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of just one little thing, and if I can keep Opus Dei off my tail. But these were massive purchases, purchases,
millions of.
and he needed big bucks behind them, and he got those big bucks.
Where, Elizabeth?
He got loans from two big name, old school, well respected Wall Street brokers, Ira Haupt.
Okay.
And J.R. Williston and Bean. Okay. Those sound fancy.
Of course. To someone like me, uneducated about such
I'm like,
names.
that sounds like money.
I'm like, you had initials. You must be rich.
They also handled his futures trading with commissions to the tune of like $100,000 a month.
Whoa.
So they're loving it.
Yeah, that's fluid.
And for collateral, they took those warehouse receipts for the non-existent oil. They then turned around and used that paper to get loans from Chase Manhattan and Continental Illinois banks.
All loans up and down.
Everything. It's just a big paper,
Yeah, you're just pushing paper around each other.
A house of cards. So according to the New York Times in 1963, Allied, quote, held contracts to deliver at a future date between 18,000 and 20,000 railroad tank cars of vegetable oil. Each contract is equal to a single tank car containing 60,000 pounds of oil. It's a lot of oil, Zaron.
That's a heck of a bunch
That is
of oil.
oily. So by the end of August of 1963, Tino owned 79% of the cottonseed oil futures contracts on the produce exchange and 20% of the soybean oil contracts on the Board of Trade. Damn. This is an insane amount.
This is way more than cornering the market.
Yes,
you are the market.
You are the market. And then there was strong pressure on futures prices. So the Ag Department was reducing estimates on exports. Tino had to walk away from buying futures for a while. Prices were in for a sharp drop.
Finally
He was going to
learned his
lose.
lesson.
Yeah, he's going to lose everything plus some, including his reputation and his pride. So, like an elder bank robber, he figured he'd take one last score, one final hit.
Bro, you've been so lucky for so long.
He figured if he kept on buying futures contracts, demand for the oil would somehow just materialize.
Oh, so he would basically trigger people to believe the market was stronger than it was.
If you build it, they will come.
Of course. Why didn't I think like that?
In September of 1963, the Soviets' sunflower crop failed.
Oh.
This kicked off whispers that they'd be in the market for U.S. vegetable oil. And that jumped the market. In 6 weeks, soybean oil climbed from $9.20 per pound to $10.30. There's a huge spike in 6 weeks.
It's a huge one.
And in those 6 weeks, American Express warehousing receipts for soybean oil pledged for loans to Allied went from 752 million pounds to 937 million pounds.
Damn.
That was the amount of all the stocks of all the soybean oil in the country.
Like all the oil.
So impossible.
Yeah.
He's saying he has more than all the oil that exists.
Who is he? Sam Altman?
So 800 million pounds of that he's claiming doesn't even exist. So when you do the math on it, Tino had taken American Express for $60 million.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, that's $633 million today.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. American Express.
I can't imagine that American Express is going to be cool with this. Like, I'm surprised they haven't had this man murdered.
Right? So would the Soviets be buying salad oil from their sworn enemy?
I imagine they would be trading for it because they can't give you rubles.
No,
You know what I mean? They're not going to buy from the capitalists.
Of course not.
Yeah, I mean,
that was rubbish. That was absolute rubbish. And the Soviets, they had to make a statement denying such a thing.
Did he start this rumor?
Uh-huh. As a result, commodity prices on soybean and cottonseed oil cratered.
Oh my God.
According to Time magazine, quote, the commodities exchanges began pressuring Ira Haupt, by far the biggest broker for De Angelis, to put up another $14.1 million in margin to cover Tino's vast contracts.
Oh, man.
The Haupt brokers frantically called Tino for the money, but Tino could not make it. So Haupt went bankrupt.
Oh,
He
man.
bankrupted this huge Wall Street brokerage.
I imagine had been a Wall Street brokerage for a very long time, generations possibly.
Yes. Allied Crude Vegetable Oil Refining Company, they filed for bankruptcy on November 19th, 1963.
This is like Trading Places, the plot line of Trading Places, like all the future and killing somebody on the Wall Street.
The futures market crashed. Soybean oil closed at $9.87 on Friday, November 15th.
Okay.
$9 on Monday, $7.75 on Tuesday. It's just in free fall. All of Tino's loan values were gone. The New York Produce Exchange halted all trading on cottonseed oil.
Dang.
So this, they filed for bankruptcy November 19th.
Okay.
Of 1963. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated on Friday, November 22nd, 1963.
I was just about to guess it. Like just a couple days later, there's much bigger news.
Shocked the markets, and they closed early, and they didn't open until Tuesday, November 26th. According to Business Insider, quote, the closure of the New York Stock Exchange gave the exchange some breathing space to address the problems De Angelis had created. If the New York Stock Exchange didn't resolve this problem, not only would the collapse discourage investment by small investors, but the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission would intervene, reducing the New York Stock Exchange's power. The NYSE solved the problem by imposing a $12 million assessment on exchange members and used the money to make Ira Haupt & Company customers whole. Wow. Creditors were not as lucky. American Express and other lenders lost millions. For the first time, the New York Stock Exchange had assumed responsibility for a member firm's failure. When the stock market reopened on Tuesday, it quickly recovered and moved up for the rest of the year.
Damn. So it's once again always important to be a stockholder, not a creditor.
Taxed all the members. Yeah, exactly. Taxed all the members in order to save themselves. So with everything in shambles, the creditors finally did a real investigation into the New Jersey tanks. Like with fresh inspectors, anyone associated with Allied or American Express not there. So we know that there weren't 1.8 billion pounds of salad oil up in there.
How much was there?
There's barely 100 million pounds.
Damn.
And as relayed in the Great Salad Oil Swindle, quote, inspectors opened a big faucet, which was supposed to hold $3,575,000 worth of soybean oil, and salt water poured out for 12 days. The tank's floating roof sank and sank and sank until finally the false chamber welded to the underside of the roof, which held a few hundred pounds of soybean oil, came to rest at the bottom of the tank. After finally checking all the tanks which they could find, the inspectors had found only 134 million pounds of stuff, excluding salt water, that looked like salad oil or animal fat. The inspectors still could not firmly identify the contents, but they estimated about half the contents was, quote, soap stock, a residue of the salad oil refining process worth only about 2 cents a pound. Checking the records of the tanks Allied leased from the owner of the tank farm, the inspectors also discovered that American Express Warehousing listed tanks on their books that in fact belonged to petroleum storage companies. For example, the 4 tanks where Bunge's 160 million pounds of soybean oil were supposed to be stored had always been filled with gasoline.
So when you're talking soap stock, you mean like basically like the cheapest like lard like fats that could be used
for like saponification.
You throw some lye in there and you can make soap, but this is like not supposed to be eaten or used for any food products.
No, it's for industrial soap. Yeah, it's not primo taglio.
Wow.
16 companies and 2 brokerage houses were forced into bankruptcy.
How many?
16 companies, 2 brokerage houses. Zaron, where was the money?
I'm guessing overseas somewhere in Swiss bank accounts.
About $40 million went to soybean futures traders who cashed in when prices dropped.
Okay.
Another $60 million went to pay for the rapid expansion of the refining operation, covering operating losses and like paying interest charges on loans. And then there are the incalculable millions that went to friends, family, business associates. Tino was drawing a salary of about $100,000 a year, which is like $1 million in today's dollars. But he was known to spread his money around.
Sure.
So all these millions, who knows?
So he
could
really
be in foreign bank accounts.
He really wasn't diverting a lot to like some weird foundation he had or anything like that.
No.
He just gave it to everyone he knew, and then that made him rich because everyone owed him favors and so forth.
Right.
Gotcha.
So in January of 1964, the Justice Department got an 18-count indictment against him. They charged Dino with transporting across state lines $40 million worth of forged warehouse receipts for vegetable oil. He pleaded not guilty to all counts, and he was looking at a $10,000 fine and 10 years in jail on each count.
Yeah.
18 counts. In 1965, he turned around and did plead guilty.
And he's like 50 at this point because he was born in like 1915.
Yeah, 1915. So, he's 50 years old. He winds up, okay, you know what? I'm going to plead guilty to 4 federal counts of fraud and conspiracy. He got 10 years in prison. But not really. Because there's this new section at the time of the federal criminal code.
Okay.
And it turned Tino over to the personal custody of U.S. Attorney General Nicholas Katzenbach.
Wait a minute, really?
And Tino would be subject to FBI questioning about the details of everything he did.
Oh.
And then the U.S. Director of Prisons would report to the judge and either affirm the sentence, suggest a reduction, or recommend that Tino be put on probation immediately. Wow. So by cooperating, he could be free like inside of 3 months.
So they basically wanted him to flip on anyone he worked with. They're kind of hoping there was some RICO mob stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about who his associates were.
That's what I'm guessing.
I'm guessing it had something to do with this thing of ours.
Yeah.
They wanted him to rat. According to Time magazine, quote, although he pleaded guilty, powerful forces were working against me. And on the Department of Agriculture, quote, they called me a down there.
Whoa.
So I guess his FBI questioning didn't go so well.
Doesn't sound like it.
He got sentenced to 20 years. He served 7 of those and got out in 1972.
7 on 20.
According to MSN, quote, in 1980, Tino was back in prison for a 7-year sentence after being found guilty of masterminding a scheme that cheated farmers and their suppliers out of $13 million. In 1993, he scored another 7-year prison sentence for using forged bank letters to buy $1 million in pork from a Canadian company.
He's back in pork. He's all the way back to the beginning.
All the way. And Tino, 93. Hey, so he's like
Elizabeth,
up there in years.
Oh, yeah. Once you find you're good at something, you got to stick with it.
Yeah, he really did.
All he knows how to do is to cheat on major purchases.
He passed away at the age of 93 in 2009.
Wow.
R.I.P. Salad Oil Swindler King.
Dude, you expect all this from like, hey, I want olive oil. I love that it's in like cottonseed oil.
Totally. So what's your ridiculous takeaway?
I mean, like, you always kind of guess when it comes to these big contracts, like, oh, it's kind of shady, it's hinky, there's people who are doing corruption. But like this scale that he went for where he's controlling the whole market, the arrogance that he didn't think that he would be found out by. Yeah. There are so many people reliant. Like when I made the joke earlier about Sam Altman, it's because when you start hyping a market, and everyone's listening to you as the major player in the market, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to like question you. A lot of journalists are going to be looking for stuff. A lot of regulators. It's just, you've increased the amount. He should have not that he should have gone smaller, but you think he would be a little more savvy and like kind of like, I don't know, like have some of it be real, it's like there's got to be, it can't be that it's all just seawater and a little bit of oil on the top.
You're right. There's too much of a chasm between what was possible and what he was promising.
There's like nothing, you couldn't, I understand like he made the mistake with the futures and Opus Dei and all of that, but he was doing that for decades. It's like, bro, come on, like quit while you're ahead at some point.
Exactly.
What's yours ridiculous
That's
takeaway,
it.
Elizabeth?
Quit while you're ahead at some point.
You can't take mine. What's yours?
I took it.
Oh, wow.
It's my takeaway now.
Dang.
So
my grandma gave me that takeaway.
I would like a talkback, I think.
Oh my god, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hi, Mandy from Canada here. Whenever Elizabeth mentions Regina Corn Tower, I'm reminded of driving across Canada with my husband and stepson 20-odd years ago. We'd made it to Saskatchewan, stopped for gas, and after paying, I told my husband the clerk said it would be about another 2 hours to get to Regina. At this moment, my 5-year-old stepson said, "Mandy," in a shocked voice. I calmly told him, I said, "Regina, not vagina."
I like that the boy knew all the proper terminology.
Exactly.
You know, teach a kid physiology.
That's right. The proper is amazing.
That's great.
Oh, my goodness. That's it.
Oh, Regina.
Regina, vagina. That's it for today. You can find us online at ridiculouscrime.com. Now, we've been winning a lot of awards lately,
Or at least getting nominated.
but things have taken a turn for the worse.
Oh, no.
We were recently given detention in Mr. DeWolf's science class. And so it's ISS, in-school suspension.
Oh, okay. At least there's that.
But
I can work on my desk art.
We gotta, turn this ship around, Zaron. Straight up and fly right.
Was it for us or for the website and
Just
us?
just for the website.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just for the website. We're also at Ridiculous Crime on both Blue Sky and Instagram. We're on YouTube at Ridiculous Crime Pod. Email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. Leave us a talk back on the iHeart app. Reach out. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the avocado oil king of Atlanta, Dave Kustin. Starring Annalise Rutger as Judith. Research is by Thousand Island Kingpin Marissa Brown. The theme song is by Ranch Magnate, Thomas Lee, and Green Goddess Trafficker, Travis Dutton. Host wardrobe is provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkle Shot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben, mayonnaise is a legitimate salad dressing, Bolin, and Noel, heck, mayo is just legit full stop, Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.